I am one of the best, if not the best finisher in the UFC today. I think Curtis is stylistically the toughest fight in the division for me. One day in the next 10 years of my life, that belt's going to be around my waist, and that's it.
Welcome back to BT Sport. Tom Aspinall, how are you, pal?
Always a pleasure, mate. You know I love a bit of BT Sport. Yeah, all good, all good.
That's the right thing to say at the start of the interview, pal. Now listen, we're going to be talking about loads of different aspects of UFC London 1 and UFC London 2, which is coming up, which we're all excited about. Right?
We're talking about the brawl in the hall. That was UFC 1, weren't it?
Well,
you know, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah.
But I want to talk about the more wider aspect now of fame and dealing with fame, being able to go down to the local supermarket and getting stock for pictures and all that type of stuff. How are you dealing with it? How are you dealing with this? The eyes now firmly being on you.
Depends what mood I'm in, mate. To be honest with you, I appreciate the love, of course.
Yeah.
When people get a bit weird, it freaks me out. When people like...
What did they do?
See, I'm a bit awkward anyway, and when people start acting awkward around me, I'm like, just calm down. I don't know, like, if someone just comes over with a handshake and wanting a picture, like, I'm good with that. I don't know, it's weird, like, I can never judge it when I'm like, I never expect to be stopped for pictures when I'm like, with the kids getting a loaf of bread in Tesco. Like, I'm never, like, expect to be asked, and sometimes I can be there taking pictures for 10, 15 minutes. Other times I'll be going somewhere that I expect to take pictures and people won't get there. So it's a bit unpredictable at the moment. So I expected it. I expected to be a UFC superstar, to be honest, without sounding like I expected to. It's what comes with the job, you know what I mean? If you're doing well, you get praised for it and recognised for it. So I expected to do well, obviously. That's why I'm doing this sport, to do well. So comes with the job. I'm all right with it.
How have the twins reacted to it? Do they think it's weird when someone taps dad on the shoulder in Tesco and he's buying
my oldest kid, he's getting to the age where he's starting realising now, like he's nearly 6.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, he's starting realising. He asked me the other day, have I ever fought Conor McGregor? which is a bit like, no son, I'm like twice his size. But yeah, I think he's starting like twigging on a little bit, but still early. My kids are still really young, so not just yet.
What's been the biggest perk then?
Free stuff.
Yeah, all that type of thing. What's the biggest perk that you've had?
Mainly free stuff. Like, it's weird, mate, because before I had any money, I had to pay for everything.
Yeah.
Now I've got more money.
Yeah.
I don't really have to pay for that much. So that's... Anytime you don't have to pay for something, mate, that's a perk in my eyes.
Especially
no matter how much money you've got. Yeah, but don't matter how much, if you can get money off, it doesn't matter how much money you've got. Like, that's a bonus. So, yeah, that's the biggest perk, I reckon, yeah.
It's been a magic... I don't know, obviously we're talking about your kids and your family there, right? But people kind of... Obviously, they see the superstar, they see the guy that does the thing in the octagon, they see all the things that you do from a sporting aspect, but there's a real life that sits behind all of this. And you've been doing this since you were a kid, and there's been times, I know, that on this journey where it's been difficult, because before the UFC, you were struggling to get fights because nobody wanted to have a knock with you. You were turning up in various places for a fight, and fighters weren't turning up to fight you, and therefore, obviously, that would have had major financial ramifications for you. You became a dad during this period of time, so I'm sure there were conversations that you, your wife, your family all had, and you're thinking, is it worth it? Is it worth doing this?
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have my close circle, like, they believe in me a lot. I'm really lucky to have that, like, not everybody has that. And I'll be honest, there was a few times over the years when I felt like stopping fighting completely. Like, I like to think that I can turn my hand to most things and be okay at it. Like, I'm decent with people. I pick stuff up pretty quick, so I like to think that I could go and do another job if I wanted to. So yeah, I thought, you know what, I'm going to sack this fighting off, because like you say, my fights kept getting cancelled. I went through a particularly hard patch, if you like, of where I just had my twins. I had 3 children, I had no money, and I wasn't getting no fights. And that was very difficult then, because a lot of people were like, you know, you need to provide for your family. What are you doing for it? But luckily, like, my wife is on side, obviously, my dad my mum, my brother, they're all on side, and they're like, look, you come this far, you can't stop now. He's like, you're right there. And once you get a bit of momentum behind you, you're going to just keep going. And luckily, listened to them, believed in myself, and they were right, because here I am.
That's a hard thing to do, though, isn't it? Because it's your dream, it's your ambition, you know that you can do it,
Yeah.
but then there's the reality of being a man, providing for your family, looking after your family, and even though, for example, you sit down with your wife and you have these conversations and she'll say, listen, I believe and we're going to do it this way, there must be a thing that goes on in your head thinking, she's just saying that to be nice to me, I've got to do X, Y and Z in order to provide.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in tears so many times with this thing, literally, because I don't know what to do, especially when there's kids involved. If it was just me, it wouldn't be that bad. But when you got 3 small children who are depending on you, and you're doing I was trying my best, but I was doing what seemed like nothing, because I wasn't getting the fights. I wasn't like I'd be doing full training camps, mate. I'd be doing full 8-week camps, putting my body through it, putting my mind through it, doing nothing socially with anybody, and then the fight would get cancelled the week of, or I'd turn up at the event, my opponent wouldn't show up, and it was a hard time. It was a tough time. There were some days I don't like to harp on about like sob stories and stuff. Like, I'm not that type of person, but
no, but it's your story.
There were some days when like I had to decide, am I going to use the 20 quid that I've got to buy stuff for the kids, or am I going to use the 20 quid that I've got to put fuel in the car to go and train? Like, that was literally what happened some days. So yeah, it was pretty testing times mentally, but it's paid off.
It has paid off, because we're here, we're in this situation now. And turning to what we saw at UFC London earlier on this year, that being your first scheduled 5-rounder, the first one in front of a major crowd in the UFC, and obviously a big test taking on the man that you took on that particular night. Before we talk about the fight, before we talk about everything, when you arrive at a venue, when you arrive at the O2, it's going off outside. It's one of the best nights that we've all experienced, anybody that was in attendance that night. You're in your changing room. What are the emotions like at that time, given the journey that you've just told us that you've been on to this point?
See, do you know the other stuff? I try and not take it into consideration, because when you're in that frame of mind, you can get very emotional very quick, and you have to take it. What I try and do is just take a step back and just think, this is just a sport. This is just another fight with another guy. That's what I just keep telling myself. But we had some crazy moment that I didn't expect. When I was in the changing rooms, they have like a TV screen of the event that's happening as people would watch it at home.
Yeah.
So I was in the changing rooms, getting the hands wrapped, nervous as hell. And I'm like that every time, every single time. And I'm getting the hands wrapped thinking, oh my God, what am I doing? Same as I do every time. And I felt there was like a crazy roar in the arena, like, whoa, and I felt like the walls were shaking. It was that loud. I was like, what's going on? Looked around on the TV, and they were roaring at me walking into the arena. That's what they were roaring at. And I was just like, oh my God, they're roaring at me walking in the arena. What are they going to be like when I walk out there? And we had the best walkout ever. Like, it was insane, absolutely insane.
Well, you picked Curtis Mayfield.
Oh, legendary song.
Well, you can't not change that now. It has to be that,
yes,
consistently going forward, because you've kind of made... Listen, there'll be people watching this that, I don't know, maybe watched wrestling when they were younger, and when a certain song comes on, they know what's coming next. That song now, from that walkout, from that moment, is kind of synonymous with Tom Aspinall walking to the octagon.
I completely agree with you, and every time, the reason I chose that song, I chose it because I had a break when I went boxing for a little bit, and then when I switched back to MMA from boxing, I decided that I want to enjoy this sport. I spent so long not enjoying it and trying to force stuff on wanting it too much, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to put all that to one side, and I'm just going to enjoy this sport. And I'm going to choose a song that makes me smile and makes me loosen up and enjoy it. And that's Curtis Mayfield, Move On Up for me. So every time I hear it, I just like start having a little dance, a little smile to myself, and yeah.
Little toe tap.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Comes on it, Kyle, little
1-2 step, yeah, doing all that. Yeah, no, I love that song.
Are you a mover? Can you do a bit?
Depends how many drinks I've had.
Because you're light on your feet in the octagon.
I am very light on my feet, yeah. It's from my extensive dancing background.
Is it?
No. But I've got rhythm.
Okay. Mate, it's a great track, and like you say, as soon as it kicks in, the whole arena absolutely lit up. When you're stood at the top of the walk there and you're making your way, what's the change in mentality? You say in the dressing room you're incredibly nervous, and that's fully understandable. But now it's business time. We're going to go and do business. Is there a change? Is there a moment where it changes for you along the way?
No.
Even up until Bruce reading your name out or something like that, it's still the same feeling.
I'm ice cold when I fight. Ice cold. There's no emotion involved. It's not personal. It's a sport for me, and that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not life or death. It's nothing like that. I'm not going to a war zone. I'm not going to the guillotine. I'm not going having a battle with anyone. I'm going doing the sport, and that's how I treat it now. Like I used to, when we were talking about before, pre Tom Aspinall boxing, when I used to do MMA before then, like in my early 20s, this was the most serious thing in the world. And now I'm going to do a sport, and I don't need to be in no weird mindset to put, like, if you asked me to punch you in the face right now, I would do. No, really. No, mate, this is a sport. I don't look at it like I'm just doing this. No, I'm just doing a sport. I'm not like doing nothing crazy. I'm going there and enjoying myself and doing what I love, and that's it. There's no switch flicked with me or warrior mindset or nothing like that. Like,
so then, when the win happens, there must be a release of emotion. Yeah. At that particular point of obviously finishing someone like Volkov in front of all those people. We saw you on the cage. What's that?
It's just like? A massive relief. It's just so much relief, because in your mind all week, every single scenario that's happening has happened for me. So when it goes well, especially that well, and you don't get, like, I literally fought the number 5 guy in the world, 6'9" Russian beast, who literally had, you can Google this by the way, twice as many knockouts as I had fights at the time, and didn't get hit. Like, that is some relief when you don't get hit and finish him in 4 minutes or whatever it was, in front of the, sold out O2. Like, that's just pure relief.
And on that, it's funny you just mentioned about time, because in doing so, you took Ronda Rousey's record. Yeah. Which is the quickest to 5 UFC victories. You have not been on the mat, inside the cage, door shut, for 15 minutes yet.
Yeah, I've not had a full fight yet.
It's less than 15 minutes and you've finished 5 people. That is absolutely insane, mate.
Let's keep it that way, hopefully. I want to keep everything as, like, secret as I can. Like, I want to be a massive, like, I love it when opponents come out and in pre-fight interviews and say, oh yeah, we know he's good at this and he's not good at this and he's good. No one has any idea what I'm good at and not good at. And I want to keep it that way if I can.
Once you go away from the limelight of the fight night, so obviously we've all interviewed you and you sat back in your changing room, and it's you and your pops. Yeah. What's that moment like?
Pretty good.
After a moment like...
Pretty good. My dad's kind of on the same headspace as me though, like, we expect it. Yeah. I know that sounds like wildly arrogant and ignorant to the whole, but like, I know what I'm capable of, so does my dad. So for me, like, we just expect that kind of stuff. I wouldn't expect, honestly, I was expecting like a 5-round real tough fight with Volkov. But it was not like, it's not out of the ordinary for that to, like, he didn't take me by mad surprise that happened, you know what I mean? There's a finish. I believe honestly that, like, I am one of the best, if not the best finisher in the UFC today. I honestly believe that I can finish the fight from anywhere. And like, these, because I've got a few knockouts and a few submissions like this, that's only a tiny bit of what I can do. Like, I've got finishes from every position that no one's even seen yet. So for me to go out there and finish someone quick, it's not really a surprise for me, as ignorant and cocky as that might sound.
No, I get it. It's mixed martial arts, isn't it? It's a rounded skill set that you're talking about there. I'll come back to that in a minute, because I still want to stick on the topic here of obviously doing this with your dad. What's the celebration like? Is it just like fish and chips and a pint? And then
pretty chilled, mate.
Back to the gym?
No, chilled. Yeah, chilled. We have a couple of weeks downtime and that, and then we're straight back on it. I can't spend too long outside the gym anyway. I don't like it. Like, I'm OCD about my training. I'm like, I need to work. Like, even from my last fight, I'm like, I need to work more of this. Need to do this. Need to do this. Like, I'm so regimented with my training that...
Were you seen, in the immediate aftermath, I remember seeing you backstage and you were on Dana straight away, on him straight away, and it was like, the moment, it's still kicking off outside, the crowd's still going wild outside, and you were on him straight away, said, bring this back here, man. Yeah. Bring it back, get me a top 5 dude and let's rock and roll straight away.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to... No, it's not that I don't want to go somewhere else and fight. I've done that multiple times. But if they're coming back to England...
You're the guy.
I'm the guy. Exactly, I'm the guy. I don't want to go, just for example, Vegas. I don't want to go Vegas and be the first guy on the card when I can be the main event in my home country. Like, that's silly. I want to be the guy.
And obviously, then I got an experience of that crowd that particular night. What's it like when you start seeing people tagging you in social media of the concourse outside and everybody's singing? There's only one Tom Aspinall.
I mean, Dana was loving it, first of all. Dana was loving it. And, you know, my best friend of 25 years recorded that video that a lot of people are sharing. Yeah. And he literally walked around the corner and that was going on. And he just said it was just... He showed me at first, like...
That must be mad for him, because like you said, he's known you for such a long time.
He said it was insane, he just said he couldn't believe it.
Well, we've got another date. July's obviously coming up, and this time, Curtis Blaydes.
Yeah.
In the immediate aftermath, though, of March, you were on that microphone straight away. You went backwards and coming forwards. You said, Tai Tuivasa, let's rock and roll. Was there any conversation of maybe it being Tai?
No, they never actually offered me Tai. They said that no one wants to fight Curtis. This was their words. No one wants to fight Curtis. No one wants to fight you. Do you want to fight Curtis? I said, I'm in. Sign me up. Send me the contract. And that's how it went. I don't know what Ty's done. I don't know. I have no idea. A lot of respect for Ty. I'm sure we're going to fight each other one day. Sure, we're all going to fight each other one day. That's why I'm not picky. Like, if I'm one of the best heavyweights in the world, I got to be ready to fight everybody. And I'm okay with that. I think Curtis is, I've said this in multiple interviews and I'll say it again, I think Curtis is stylistically the toughest fight in the division for me. And I can see why people are avoiding him. But I'm not that guy.
His last performance, obviously he's got a heavy wrestling base, but last performance he finished with his hands. So therefore, again, you look at the term of mixed martial arts, that rounded artillery, of which you've most certainly got. So therefore, I just want to explain to the audience that are watching this, when you say he's the most difficult stylistically, what exactly are you referring to? Because people will look at, for example, John Jones coming into the heavyweight division, they'll look at Stipe, they'll look at Francis, who's the champion, they'll look at those maybe as more tough fights, but stylistically you're referring to something a bit different.
Because obviously he's a great wrestler, obviously. His wrestling obviously really impresses me, but it's not just his wrestling. It's the threat of the wrestling that he uses to his advantage. His top pressure's amazing. He makes you think that he's going to take you down and then throws the hands, and vice versa. Does it really well, like makes you think that he's going to box with you and then he'll get under you, take you down, squash you, elbow you in the face. All the stuff that you don't want to happen to you, he's doing it well. So he's very good. I got a lot of respect for Curtis. When we met years ago now, I told him that I was a fan and everything, and not sure if he remembers that, but it's going to be a good one.
What are you doing camp-wise this time around? Because I know that you mixed it up last time. You went over to Holland a little bit. Are you doing anything a little bit different?
Yes, yeah. So I'm doing a similar thing. I think. See, the guys in Holland, obviously I've been with Team Carbon forever. They're going to be with me forever as well. The guys in Holland are predominant. Well, they are kickboxers, but because we got such a good connection, like I'm going to be connected with them forever as well. Like they're just great guys and they helped me out so much last time, and they've actually gone out their way to get a couple of, I believe, Dagestani wrestlers over as well for when I go over, so I'll be able to do like literally the best kickboxing sparring in the world and have high level wrestling there as well, which is just ideal. And it's an hour away on the plane, which is amazing as well.
Do you find it helps getting away from home to train and away from maybe, listen, I know that you're not distracted anyway, but friends and family and stuff like that, maybe phoning you up for tickets and all that type of stuff, being out the country, being training somewhere else, does it help a little bit?
I've not done extensive training outside the country, like even last time it was only for a couple of weeks, but this time will be longer. This time will definitely be longer, so I guess we'll see this time, but I like to be around, I like to have normal things to do as well though, me. Like I can take stuff, I can get too obsessed. I'm a very obsessive person. And if I'm sat there just thinking about my fight, I don't think that's very good for me. So I like to be home as well. So that's why Holland is a good fit, because I can be back and forward a lot. Do you know what I mean? I don't just have to be 100% fighting all the time. It can be, because I'm not someone who loses focus ever. Like, I'm not one of these people who's going to go on a mad bender and like not train. Like, I'm obsessed with this sport. I'm completely and utterly obsessed with it. There's not a lot else in my life that matters apart from me improving in all aspects of MMA. And that's not just, I'm not talking about punching one another and wrestling one another. I'm talking about being a better athlete. I'm talking about having a better mindset, having better recovery, finding different ways to work on recovery better with diet and everything. Like, I am completely obsessed with it.
How are you finding the relationship now that you've got with Bisping? Because I know that you're a fan of his growing up, because you're a massive fan. You're a huge fan of this sport. You've had loads of people that you've admired over the years. Even, I suppose, starting at Cowboy when you were a kid and being on the mats with Terry Etam and people like that must have been a bit of a weird experience for you. But how are you finding that dynamic now with Bisping, where you two are just on the phone having a bit of a chinwag every now and again?
Oh yeah, Mikey B. He loves a phone call. He rings me all the time. No, I love Bisping. Like, he has done. See, the thing with me and Bisping is before we met, we had like no real ties to one another. It wasn't like, we don't have the same manager. We've not trained together. So he never has to do really anything for me, because we don't. But he's really gone over and above for me in different aspects. You know, he give me advice if I need it. I can ask him about certain things in a fight. I can ask him about certain things in the UFC, certain things in training. I was actually going to go over and train with him this time, but I've got a visa issue, which is nothing. I'm not a criminal or nothing. My work visa's ran out. I'm waiting on another one, so I can't go over maybe this time. But I do want to go over and do a bit of training with him as well, because I think that'd just be a good thing. But like I say, I'm inspired by Bisping constantly. Even what he's doing now, like even after his fight, I'm inspired by that. Like, that's the path I want to go down as well, beyond fighting. I think he's really set the blueprint of what UK fighters can do. So
in years to come, you're going to be sat in this seat interviewing people, mate. Is that the score?
Yeah, I'd like to do all that. To be honest, yeah, I would like to do it.
I think you could.
I'm
man.
not trying to take your job.
No, but you are, mate. I can see that you've got. Listen,
no, I'd like to do all that. I think I'm very interested in the way fighters' brains work.
Yeah.
Very interested in it, and different people's outlooks on stuff. And I'm interested in people anyway. Like, I love people and being around people and different mindsets and different Like, I just like being around people, really. So I think I'll be all right at it. I don't know. I've never tried it. I think I'll be all right.
Whilst listen, let's get back on the fighting, because a lot of fans now I'm not carried away. They're expecting that you could be the guy. You could be the guy to bring on maybe the next piece of UFC gold. Do you have in your mind a time frame of how this all now plays out for you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do you know, I just trust in one day in the next 10 years I'm going to hold the belt. One day. That's it. Like, for me, I think my mind works quite different to a lot of other fighters in that sense. Like, for me, the 24th of July, which is the day after my fight, that doesn't really exist for me right now. Like, all I'm thinking, I think it's pretty much suicide to look past someone like any top 10 heavyweight MMA fighter in the UFC. Yeah. It's suicide to look past them. Like, if I start, I've had a load of questions on, do you think I'll fight the winner of Gan and Tuivasa? What about the belt? Doesn't interest me, mate, at all. Doesn't interest me. What interests me right now is beating Curtis Blaydes, and that's it. I know that's like, everyone says, I'm not looking past my opponent and all that stuff, but my mind doesn't even occupy that. I have no interest in it at all.
You do what you do against Curtis Blaydes, it takes care of itself.
Exactly. I just trust in the process of one day in the next 10 years of my life, that belt's going to be around my waist, and that's it. I don't care how it happens, who I've got to fight, who I've not got to fight, and all that stuff. I just know that's going to happen. But for right now, the next 8 weeks are focused 100% on Curtis Blaydes, and that's it.
Leave it there. Looking forward to it, man.
Thanks, mate.